Hey, what's going on, y'all? Another video for you. So today I want to talk about, um, first of all, that people want to be deceived, and the main reason why people have a problem with the Bible, the biblical worldview, the worldview that actually gives meaning and purpose to everything that we have and exposes the deceptions and the lies that the world seeks to deceive many by. The first thing we have to understand about the Bible is that it is a law book. It is a reflection of our Creator's revealed attributes in nature throughout all human civilizations. A uniform account, historical account that is, of people throughout all history who come to the same understanding of the same objective reality. And it's all revolves around God's law versus man's sin or man's evil. People want to focus on these subjective nuance about things, but and a lot of it stems from the biblical Jesus Christ, not the Jesus Christ that they have been deceived and misled to believe because they never researched and thoroughly read in entirety the life and purpose of the biblical Jesus Christ. Because if they did, they will understand that the world uh, rejects the true Jesus Christ, and never accepted him. You know why? Because he condemned the world by actually walking and living the law. And this preceded his actual physical birth. You see, he was prophesied to come because what happened in the Old Testament? Men could not fulfill the law. And every time they tried to do so, they did it in idolatry. They did it in deception. This is why the Pharisee was such an evil antagonist of Christ, because he was out for money, power. He was working with the Roman government. He wasn't reflecting a true, holy, and righteous life, but just wanted to look the part. And it's funny because today, the so-called church, unbiblical church, the 501c church, the Freemasonry church, and I'll get onto that because if you look at how a Freemason, a actual Freemasonry lodge, I'm not talking about those little groups. I'm talking about the real ones that actually control the world, the skull and crossbones, the 33-degree masonry that you can do your own research. They're set up just like these unbiblical worldly churches are. And people are deceived by the fact that they use words, but they don't actually reflect it. One thing that the biblical Jesus Christ said is that you will know a tree by its fruit. He said a good tree does not produce corrupt fruit, and a corrupt tree does not bear good fruit, but by their fruits you should know them. It's funny that nobody wants to examine the fruit to actually qualify that these people who use the label of the Bible are not actually reflecting what it says. And that should disqualify them and not the actual Bible that exposes them. See, the world actually promotes deception and lies. That's why it uses relativism and subjectivity to describe everything, because those are things that can be easily manipulated and misinterpreted to fit any agenda and narrative. That's what the world uses. Like the world has deceived people to believe that morality is the issue, while people actually complain about morality. All these social justice warriors, all of these people who complain about the government and unfair business, but still expect the same corrupt government to care and fix their problems that they socially engineered, that's foolishness. Morality is what keeps and allows things to be honest. How do people associate morality with doctors, lawyers, politicians, anything, even the educational system? You have to believe that what people are telling you is true. The world has deceived people to believe that there are monkey men. Come on, man. They believe that you came from nothing, you end as nothing, but somehow try to justify what happens in between by trying to indoctrinate you into what they want you to be so that you can fall into their narrative. That's what the world does. It's what it's always done. People are looking to government and in the voting left-right paradigm as though any hierarchy ever cared about the interests of people. No, governments seek to rule, to oppress, and control. That's what they do. Government does not reflect God's biblical law that actually enacts people to treat one another as they would like to be treated, that gives a sense of fairness and actual justice. Justice is a biblical attribute because justice has to come from the ultimate justice that only an ultimate creator can establish through his ultimate objective absolutes of right and wrong. But the world rejects that. The secular world rejects absolutes. They don't agree on gender. They don't agree on justice. They don't agree on anything. There is no logic in this world. Logic is of God because logic comes from understanding of creation. The world didn't create itself and man didn't create the world. So man can't understand the world. All we do is create counterfeits and deceptions of how we like to interpret what happens. But if you notice that everything man does, it has consequences and risks that destroy the purpose of doing it. Yes, we have cars. Yes, we have technology that allows us to do things. But what also do we have? Pollution. We destroy and degrade our environment out of convenience. Even with computers, what happens with this technology and the tech that we have now? Well, we're losing our humanity. We're losing what actually allows human interaction to have meaning because of technology. What is the point of technology when it surpasses our humanity? And we reduce and minimize the value of our lives to nothing but how we can manipulate and extort one another. People actually expect to have a actual biblical marriage through a world or a lens such as that. Well, that's why the divorce rate, the infidelity rate, the paternity fraud rate, and everything else that goes with it false allegation rate, all of that goes with the world that is a counterfeit of the truth. The Bible says that they will have a form of godliness but deny the power thereof. A form of godliness but denying the one who is and created it. That's what the world does. The world wants to tell you that a church building is where you go, instead of telling you that your conscience was crafted, designed to be made in the image of the one who created you. That's why you have a conscience. That's why we all understand right and wrong through how we want to be treated. That was given to us. That's why there is no excuse. Even creation, I believe is Romans 1:20, talks about since the creation of the world, everything can be understood through the things that are already made. That's where logic comes from, a reverse understanding of the things that are already created. We cannot create people from nothing. We cannot create matter, energy from nothing. So we don't really understand nothing. We just understand enough to manipulate the truth and corrupt the truth of what already exists. That's why the world uses the institutions to funnel all information through government regulated institutions. So they can tell you what to think and what is valid. So you don't think internally anymore. You think externally. You seek these appointed, compromised, and well-funded authority figures to tell you what is right and what is wrong. So I just wanted to explain that, like, for a quick example before I get off of this. PCR, many understand that's the polymerase chain reaction test that they use, right? Now let's understand that if you look at the creator of that, K. Mullis, you can look him up. I don't want to say the whole name. I've probably already triggered the thing, but look him up. I'm gonna be real vague about this. He says it's not to be used for diagnostic procedures. And how it works, it only amplifies genetic material or makes more of what is already there. It's a research tool. It is not to be used for what your government is telling you it can diagnose, because it can't. And how it determines a positive and negative outcome is through something called a cycle threshold that we don't they won't the government and the corporation and the health industry won't disclose how that cycle threshold is determined. And even Mr. Fauci himself tells you that if you turn it above I think it was 35 cycles or maybe even low as 25 cycles, it's probably going to be a positive outcome. Look this up. Don't take my word for anything. Look it up. They expose the lie, but they bank on you deceiving it because you love the things that they're doing. People are prideful. People can't accept that their indoctrinated knowledge is a lie because they built their whole life on something that doesn't matter, something that just determines them walking around in the vanity of their imagination in their mind, while the government plays you for a fool. Now they got this gas shortage going on, more socially engineered crisis to justify why we're having a food shortage, to why businesses can't run, to why we can't, trucks and airplanes can't do the things. Now we're back into panic. And I guarantee you, this is going to be all rolled up in this paradigm of fear and desperation, where the government has to be the hero, where they can only decide what's best for you. And by the time you turn over all your rights and freedom to them, it's going to be too late. It's already too late, honestly, if you don't have your soul in order, because you could die tomorrow, die today. And none of what you have in this life or what you think matters. You need to think about eternity, because eternity is thinking about you. There's a difference between what's inside of you and what's inside of people in the graveyard. It's not the same. It is not equal. And if you believe that that is what you know to be the true you inside of you is nothing, then you're already dead. And your life is meaningless. So I just wanted to say that. Peace out.